YouTube, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this week's top 3 Thursday Bambinos. Tonight we're doing it a bit different. I know you normally tune in to look at me, my beautiful face, or whatever you want to call me. But yeah, I thought we would do a video now on my... This is a tough one. It's a big one for me, actually. My top 3 characters in Street Fighter V. So not necessarily my favourite character of all time. But yeah, we're going to do my top 3 characters to play as in Street Fighter V. Okay. I'll explain my reasons why. I will do honourable mentions. I'm getting confused. I can't remember what my number 3 was. Anyway, yeah, we'll do honourable mentions, but I'm not saying like top character tournament level or anything like that. It's just the 3 characters, my top 3 characters that I like to have fun, most fun playing as, okay? I will exclude, or in case you're wondering why, so Rose, Dan Hibiki, Luke, Akira, Oro, and 11. I don't think it's fair to put them in because they're the latest Season 5, aren't they, characters. But on that subject then, my favourite character out of the Season 5, so out of those 6 characters I just showed you, my favourite character is Dan Hibiki. But if I was going to enter a tournament, it's probably the same as everyone else. I'd say Luke. I'm very impressed with how Luke... His luck is kind of growing on me, but he is a badass. He is a beast, you know what I mean? He is a favourite in tournaments. A lot of the tournaments that I watch, every other person seems to be Luke. I guarantee you the next tournament I watch, whether it be Heats, Finals, or whatever tournament, Capcom Tour, or whatever, Luke is going to be one of the main characters of choice, you know. They're all really good. Rose is amazing. I remember Rose from the Alpha days. I really like Akira. She's got the best story mode. So these are the other things I'm looking at. When I say my favourite characters, I'm looking at the story mode and do I like the look of them? Can I relate to the characters and stuff like that, okay? So obviously I look like Oro. I'm a cross between Oro and I want to say Sagat, maybe. Where is Sagat? Where are you, boy? There. The Tiger King himself. Look at the costumes he's got as well. Oh, look at that one. Yeah, so, okay then. I will do honourable mention then. So out of the Season 5... Locking it in, I'd say these 2 are my favourites. So I got Luke and Dan Hibiki. They wouldn't make my top 3, okay? Honourable mentions then, while we were on Sagat. Sagat is really good fun. I don't know if they've changed with as the updates and the patches come on. He's not quite as powerful. Again, I don't know the technical side of it. Sagat is one of my favourite Street Fighter characters of all time. On my Victrix Pro, I've got the Sagat laser printed on my main fight stick. That's how much this guy means to me. He's a badass. I remember growing up as a kid, I always had like loads of small posters, and I always had one big main poster. And before I had a poster of a Ducati 916 on my wall, it was a poster of Sagat. So he was my favourite character in Street Fighter 2. Okay, we'll just go along because I don't want to miss anyone out. I know Urien is, and Balrog then. These 2 characters seem to be very popular in tournaments. No, they don't really make, they're not in my list. Like Balrog, obviously he's like one of the classics. Worst character in the game, in my opinion, is Fang. I don't know what they were thinking. They were obviously trying something new with Fang. Like, he's like a sly character in the working for Bison, but he's trying to like overthrow Bison kind of thing. Dhalsim, in this game, he's not one of my favourites. He is one of my favourite characters of all time. I think I have told this story more than once on my channel. Dhalsim is the first character I ever went in. I'll never forget it. When I played Street Fighter 2 in the arcade, I was watching I must have been 11, maybe 10 when I first played it, and there was a bit of a crowd around Street Fighter 2. So I was wondering what was going on, and all the other boys or men were obviously a lot bigger than me. And I think it was 20 pence ago. So I asked my father, can I have 20 pence? And I said to the boy, can I go next? And they explained to me, like, you've got to put your 20 pence on the machine and keep an eye on your 20 pence. And that's like a queue kind of thing. I didn't know there was a queue. So, you know, they were nice boys, you know. And then they said, oh, it's your turn. Whose is this? My turn. And they all like moved. They did, you know, they weren't assholes or nothing. So the other guy was Ryu. And I went as Dhalsim because one of the other boys went as him. And I noticed he had like long legs and like stretchy arms and stuff. So I thought, I'll just keep punching him down and low punch. And that's all I did. I spammed it. And one of the boys behind me said, oh, he's just spamming. But I always remember I won my first ever match in Street Fighter 2. And so Dhalsim is a special character for me, okay? Birdie, I hate what they've done with Birdie. If you remember, he used to be, he used to have a six-pack. He used to be a beast, didn't he? And now he's got big, massive belly. He's got man boobs. Even his, the way they portray his character in it. In this game, I'm only talking about mainly talking about this game, or Birdie in this game rather. He works for food, and he's I don't know. I don't like what they've done with him in this game. Bison, it's probably my least favourite Bison. There was a time where my imaginary friend Chris will back me up on this. I was obsessed with Bison. I'm amazed I haven't actually got the Bison tattoo. I will have one day. I remember I was in Comic-Con in Cardiff, or one of the anime, it wasn't Comic-Con, it was like an anime in Comic-Con, and there was a man there, and he said, just chatting to the artists, and I said, oh, what work have you got? He goes, oh, I'll draw anything you want. I said, what, anything? He goes, yeah. He said, come back in half hour or whatever. So I said, oh, will you draw M. Bison from Street Fighter? And he drew me, and the artwork's up on my games room wall, you know, so I had a Bison, art commission, you know. We'll stay in the bottom row. Nash, I just can't relate to him. There's nothing about him that I like. That's enough said about him. Where have we gone? Karen, she's top tier. I don't mind her. She might be maybe in my top 10. The thing with me, I'm biased. I'm old school. I grew up with Street Fighter, okay? Or Street Fighter 2. So probably my top 10, at least 7 or maybe 8 of them are from the Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter 2 Turbo days, you know. So it is hard to get in there. Zangief, I love watching him. I'm not a Zangief guy, you know. My favourite Zangief player or person to play Zangief is Ono off High Score Girl, because she loves Zangief, doesn't she? One of the fan favourites, Laura. She hasn't made my list. Arguably the best looking female character in the game now. I don't know. Depends on your taste, if you know what I mean. Good fun. She's very good fun character. We'll skip over the next two. Hint, hint. Ed. There was a time where I thought Ed was the best player in this game. He probably is in my top 10. He hasn't made my honourable mentions yet. G, he's another one. He seems to be getting weaker and weaker as the updates come out. I just don't like the look of him. There's nothing really about him. I enjoy watching other people play as him. But, no, he's not that fun a character for me. Honda, Edmund Honda. He's got some cool, just while we're talking about him. He looks better That's my favourite costume. He looks better. The more clothes he's got on, the better. I think. Do you know what I mean? Look at that. Look at the costumes he's got. I'll show you Danny Bicky's in a sec. Honda, he was a cheap character. One of my friends used to main Edmund Honda back in the Street Fighter 2 Turbo days. He used to spam his punch. So that's where we had to learn how to use fireballs. Because he was just beating us. He'd hit us once, stand right far back as he possibly could. And every time he tried to go near him, he just spam punch. So it was game over. Yeah, let's check out Danny Bicky's, that one. Look at that costume. He's by far the funniest character in the game. So we talked about Rose. Gil, can't relate to him. He's probably got the most stylish, most impressive super in the game. If you haven't seen it, maybe I'll do a video, like a short on it at some point over the weekend, maybe. But yeah, Gil, nah, his hair, it just freaks me out. His hair just stays up in the air as if gravity doesn't exist, or he's got an absolutely insane amount of hair gel on or something, you know. Kage, good fun, but there's other similar character styles that are so much more fun, you know. Valky, good fun. I think she's the only character with an actual weapon in the game. Or you can argue Poison, I suppose. Yeah, she's a good fun character. Manat, arguably one of the best looking female characters. She's got some cool costumes, you know. She's a good fun. Again, it's not my style of gameplay, you know. What was it? Wow, look at that. Look at her gloves or whatever. Cool as fuck. Some of these costumes are awesome. Yeah, Felicia. Whenever I play as her, that's the costume I pick. Right. Right, we'll skim over that one. Alex, another one I just can't relate to the guy at all. Rashid is probably the best. I was so impressed when I first played him. I wasn't that fussed on the look of him. I thought there's a little bit too much going on with that like eyeglass thing that he's got. His stage is probably one of the best where you're fighting on top of a fucking aeroplane. Like, what the hell? Probably that's why he's probably his default costume. Sorry, my head's going. Default costume is he's got a parachute on, you know. But he's very good, and I'm quite confident he's in Street Fighter 6 roster. Yeah, he is a fan favorite. He's considered top tier. Rainbow Mika, never really got on with her. Like the look of her, she seems fun. Love the fact that she's obsessed with Zangief. We'll skip over the next two characters. Now then, Ken. Maybe unpopular opinion. I hardly ever go as Ken. There's just something about him. I know anybody from America going to watch this. I know the Americans love him. But I was always a Ryu guy growing up. We're not going to talk anymore about Ryu until later. But Ken does have some awesome... I prefer that Ken to that Ken. Where's his... Look at that one. That is badass. And I changed the colours, like an orangey one. Was it that one? Yeah, look how cool that looks. Oops, sorry. Let's have a look. Dante. Yeah. So, there's a lot of fun there with Ken, but he's not in my top list. Cammy. Yeah, okay, we'll give Cammy. She's an honourable mention then. Really good fun character. I think some people win tournaments with Cammy, don't they? Vega, I've never been good with Vega. He's not my worst character from the Street Fighter 2 days, but he doesn't suit my playstyle at all. Disappointing character, Nekali. I think Capcom were trying something new with him. He was on a lot of the artwork, the original artwork for these games. And he's just fallen off. He just hasn't really done much for the fans. My absolute worst character to play as, but one of my favourite characters, because again, like I said earlier on, I grew up with the Street Fighter characters, you know. From the age of, I think, 10 or 11, Street Fighter's been in my life, a big part of my life. So I've never really played as him, but I love him. Obviously, Van Damme plays him in the movie. He's the best character in the animated movie that came out in 1994. He doesn't give a fuck, do you know what I mean? Zero fucks. He's the ultimate badass, isn't he, you know? But as far as in this game, you do get points for my nostalgia. Obviously, I got like an attachment to because I grew up with him, didn't I? Like I keep saying. But as far as playing, he's probably one of the worst characters for me. Colin. Ooh. Top 10. She probably does scrape into my top 10. Awesome character. Very fast. Suits my play style. Loses points just because I got so much love for the characters that I grew up with, you know. Zeku, he's a fan favourite. He is... I hardly ever go as him, actually. Which is a bit of a shame. I like that outfit. Whoa, look at that. But again, he didn't really catch my eye at all. And I was watching a tournament a year or so ago. And I thought, oh yeah, I'll give him a go. But you got to be good to play as him. Do you know what I mean? He's not a cheap character. You got to put the time in to get the rewards playing as Zeku, you know. Cody, good fun character. Yeah, has he got the... Where's his nostalgia? That one. That's the costume I go as. I think he's got a ball and chain as well. Poison. People win tournaments with Poison. I think she's considered one of the best female characters to play as in the game. From a stats point of view, you know. And then we come to the end. So, I did miss a few out. Hopefully I don't forget now. So, right. I don't think there's any on this side. Just bear with me. Normally I'm a bit more organised than this, okay? So, Chun-Li, okay, is my favourite Street Fighter character of all time. She hasn't made my top 3 in this game, okay? But let me just turn the volume out. It's Jeremy talking. But the story why, like most people like have entered the tournament, they've got their reasons for it. She's simply entered the tournament as a secret agent to get closer to Bison because Bison killed her father. Her story reminds me, I know it's not exactly the same, of Enter the Dragon, and Bruce Lee's final film, Enter the Dragon, or one of his final films. It's a masterpiece, isn't it, if you haven't seen it. She just reminds, this is so much about her. My father was a policeman. She's like the Interpol or whatever, like a policewoman. Do you know what I mean? I've always loved everything about Chun-Li, but I do play as her, but she's not one of my top 3 characters in the game, okay? So I wanted to talk about her. Now then, I've got 5 characters left. This is tough, guys. This is tough. Now, Jury. Now, depending on what day of the week it is, and the positioning of the moon, and where the tide is at the current time, sometimes she's my favourite character. I don't know if it's the hype for Street Fighter 6. I think she's going to be my main. No, I haven't got a foot fetish, okay? She's going to be my main in Street Fighter 6, based on what I've seen so far, okay? She's a character, she was amazing in Street Fighter 4. She's leaps even better in Street Fighter 5. And if she improves as much between Street Fighter 4 and 5, she's going to be amazing fun, okay? I love the motorbike scene and stuff. I love everything I've seen so far. I might not get on with her, do you know what I mean, when I actually finally get to play as her, but let me tell you, the first character I'm going to play as when I get Street Fighter 6 is Juri, okay? Schooling, no, which one's Nostalgia? That's the one when I think of Juri, okay? She's got a good story, which again is important to me, which gives her extra points. She's very flashy, very pleasing on the eye. But there's one standout character, okay? But all the others are very, very close, okay? Now, might shock you. Am I going right now? Oof. I'll go Akuma then, right? Akuma, honourable mention. Just missing out on my top 3, okay? Again, I've grown up with Akuma. He's awesome. I remember people saying about, there's a hidden character in Street Fighter and you've got to do this command thing at the character select screen. So you could actually play as Akuma. And he was like a badass version of M. Bison, who was the ultimate badass, in my opinion. Like growing up, the two baddest people in the planet for me was Darth Vader and M. Bison, and then Akuma came along and it's like, oh my god, this guy could batter both of them. But in this game, I find myself playing the characters more than Akuma, okay? If I was to get a Street Fighter tattoo, it's very likely it would be of Akuma, okay? Or my number 1 choice, okay? So, let me just double check now. We're locking it in. My 3rd favourite character to play as in Street Fighter 5 is Sakura. Alright? Hear me out. I think she is considered top tier anyway. Sakura, I've seen Sakura mains win tournaments, you know. She's a character that's getting better. I like the fact with Fireball, I like to have projectiles. Okay, that's the way I play Street Fighter games or any fighting game. I love to have projectiles. Okay, so if your opponent's being cheap or the computer, or the boss or whatever's being cheap, and standing back is a grappler or something, waiting for you to come to them, you can just go, fuck you, I'll just spam you with fireballs, do you know what I mean, until you come to me, kind of thing. All right. But Sakura, I think it's in Street Fighter Alpha, her fireball, and I know in Capcom versus SNK 2, it doesn't go across the screen all the way. It only goes like halfway across the screen because she's obsessed with Ryu. But obviously she's not as powerful and as strong yet as Ryu, because she's a youngster, isn't she? So she's still in training. But in this, it almost goes across the screen. You can tell she's the most powerful she's ever been. I like her story. I read the mangas and stuff like that. I've got them. It's really good fun. She's obviously, if you didn't know, she's obsessed with Ryu. Dan Hibiki wants her to go to his dojo because she's that good. But she's just running around trying to better herself. She's like a young female version of Ryu. Maybe that's why I like her so much, you know. But she's always busy when she's in school. She's always falling asleep in class because she's been up all night doing tournaments. But she's actually a big fan of Rainbow Mika, isn't she? Yeah, I really do like Sakura, and she's great fun to play as in this. This is the best version of Sakura we've ever seen, okay? Now then, are you ready for my number 2? Let me just double check I've not missed anyone out. I know my number 2 is. Right, my number 2 is Ibuki. There was a time where she was my number 1, okay? I love her. They have got the alpha. No. Nostalgia. That is, when someone says Ibuki, that's the one I go for. The thing with, I said earlier on about projectiles, Ibuki hasn't got fireballs, but she's got, what they called? I can't remember what they're called. Like ninja stars, but she's only got 6 of them that she can use per round. So you've got to be very careful. She's like, it's like a thinking man's game when it comes to projectiles, if that makes any sense. You can't just spam them with like Ken, Ryu, Sakura. You can just spam it. Akuma, you can just spam. Okay, you want to stand back? I'll just spam fuck out of the fireballs until you come to me, kind of thing. So I know it's harder, but it's almost that like chess move element. Oh, you're over there. Now Now I'll fire one. And you think, I missed, damn it. I'll hold back until I find an opening kind of thing, yeah? She's got really, very visually amazing looking supers in it. Her story, I'm a big fan of her story. Again, like Sakura, she's in school or whatever, she's a younger character, isn't she? But she's a ninja, so she's doing a ninja training. She takes it very seriously, but she also wants to go to school. I think she wants to go to university. Again, she's always tired. And where I can relate to that, might surprise you, I'm not saying I'm a ninja. I'm not actually a ninja, despite what you might have heard. But when I was younger, I was always tired in school because we were swimming all the time. So where my mates be getting out of bed at 7:45 in the morning, I was getting out of bed at 5:30 every morning, Monday to Friday, to go swimming for an hour and a half in the morning. So by the time the school bus comes at 8:20, it's almost halfway through the day for me. It's like midday where everyone else, all my mates are coming down with their hair sticking up in the air because they've just got out of bed, saying, oh, it's too early for this shit. And me and my brother and my swimming friends, we'd all been up for hours. You know, we had like this secret life, or this other life rather, outside of our school. But come 1 o'clock in the afternoon, my eyes are starting to burn because I'm so tired, you know. And then we had to go back where my friends would all go out, hang around, play down the park, or go out, get up to no good. Me and my swimming buddies, we'd be swimming 2 nights, 2 hours every single Monday to Friday, you know. And then on the weekends, we'd be going to swimming competitions, you know. Not every weekend. So we had this life outside of school. So that's where I can relate. So Ibuki's got her schoolwork. She wants to go to university to meet. She's always chasing the boys or whatever. But she wants to. Her other priority is ninja school, but she's very good at it, you know. So and she's great fun. She's got really cool costumes. That is the best costume. She wowed me when I first saw her in Alpha. Yeah, she goes, look at these costumes, man. That one, she looks cool as fuck, doesn't she? Now then, on to my number 1. My favourite is not Dan Hibiki. He's one of my favourite characters, but to play as, it absolutely has to be my boy Ryu. Again, I grew up with him. I even had a pin badge of Ryu on my school tie at one point. I wish I still had it. I saw someone selling one on eBay for silly money, right? You were just allowed to wear a pin badge. Well, teachers never told me off. And I had a little Street Fighter Ryu one, you know, all the way through school. So he's always with me, you know. Look at these costumes, man. Do you know what I mean? Love his story. He doesn't give a fuck about money. He's just, well, can argue he's a hobo, isn't he? He's just a guy traveling the world, trying to get better at fighting, you know. He's awesome in, he's not very good in the movie, the Van Damme movie, but in the animated movie, he's brilliant in that, you know. He's just traveling. That captures Ryu for me, that does. He looks awesome again in Street Fighter 6. He looks like he's on steroids there. I don't know what. He's twice the size again. He looks like fucking Zangief or something size, you know. So I'm very excited to see Ryu. Ryu has always been my favourite, or top 3. No matter what mood I'm in, Ryu is always in my top 3 in any Street Fighter franchise. Capcom vs SNK 2, Ryu is always, or Evil Ryu is always he's on my list, you know. Yeah, I just, like I said, I grew up with the guy. I know he's not real, do you know what I mean? I'm not that fucking deluded, but yeah, he's my guy. What can I say? He is my number 1. He's my number 1 Street Fighter character. Close, well, Chun-Li is my favourite as a character, but Ryu, he's got the story, he's got the looks, and he's always really good fun to play, isn't he? I don't see a lot of top tier players him in like in the tournaments and stuff. But yeah, that is my number 1. Thank you very much, anyone that's watched this video. I know it's a different style that I normally do. Hope you like it. Hope the audio and all that shit is okay. Yeah, please let me know, what did you think? Is it a brave decision not to pick Ken? I think technically in Street Fighter 5, if you're looking at the stats, he probably is better than my boy Ryu. But taking into consideration, I gotta like the story, and you know, cause like I said, I grew up with these guys, you know, and I've always been a Ryu guy any day of the week. Okay, yeah, let me know, what's your top 3 Street Fighter characters in Street Fighter 5? If you like this video, I might go back and do the other Street Fighters in the series, you know. I like do Street Fighter 4, Alpha, and things like that, you know. Please like this video if you liked it. If you're not subscribed already, please consider subscribing. Only takes 0.94 seconds to hit that subscribe button. I will love you forever if you do that. Thank you very much for watching. Love you. Bye.